Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. It's getting pretty close to the end of the Unique Items. I started to go through and try and find ones that I hadn't done, and um, I finished most of the swords already. In fact, there's only a couple swords left. Some interesting ones, but we'll go over them. I'm going to start with the first of the swords that I haven't finished, and that is the Bloodletter Gladius. So the Bloodletter Gladius is a very interesting, exceptional level sword, coming in at level 30. It has 31 to 97 damage, which is not bad for level 30. That's actually not bad at all. It does have a very low strength requirement of only 25, and because it is a Gladius, or rather a short sword, it does have a relatively low range, so do keep that in mind if range is important to you. Pretty sure the Gladius is a range 1, I want to say, just off the top of my head. Let me double check that real quick. Yes, it's a melee range 1. Which means it's going to be relatively short. Actually would work really well with Whirlwind. Because shorter range, for some reason, tends to do a lot better with Whirlwind. Allows you to focus your damage better with Whirlwind. And coincidentally, this happens to be a Whirlwind item. We also have a very fast attack speed because these swords already are fast weapons. And then on top of that, we also have a 20% increased attack speed on here as well to bump up the speed a little bit. We have 140% enhanced damage, which does not vary. It's always 140%. And then we have 12 to 45 additional damage added, which I believe is min and max, which is actually pretty sweet because it gives it a nice little bump, especially for a Gladius, which has a little bit of a lower damage threshold. On top of that, we also have plus 90 to attack rating, which is certainly not anything to shy away from on a melee character. 8% lifesteal, which doesn't vary either. And then we come to the plus to skills, which are the main variable on this weapon. So we have the Whirlwind, which varies from 1 to 3. And then we have the Blade Mastery, which was changed from Sword Mastery. It used to be Sword Mastery. Now it's also 2 to 4. So a perfect Whirlwind Bloodletter Gladius would be a 3-4, is what you're looking for, a 3-4 Bloodletter Gladius. It also comes in the Ethereal form, which is 40 to 124 damage. Not bad. Only 15 strength requirement, so even lower. And, of course, you can't really get good use out of this weapon on a character, but you could theoretically put this on a low-level Act 5 Frenzy Barbarian, specifically for the, the additional damage. You can also socket it, of course, and you could put something nice in there. And it also has 10% slower stamina drain, which I believe I left out. Don't really know if that would ever come in handy on a Barbarian, especially since Barbarians usually have the very nice 2-skill combo here, which most players put 1 point into. So 1 point into increased stamina and 1 point into increased speed. So at this point, like, there's really no reason to have the whole lower stamina drain thing, especially around level 30 when you have 1 point in all those. Pretty terrible stat all around. Now, the Bloodletter Gladius can be upgraded, and I do believe this actually upgrades decently. So let's take a look at it, shall we? So we're going to upgrade from 31 to 97 damage, 25 strength, level 30, with a Pull, a Lum, and a Perfect Emerald. It's going to go to a Falcata, 86 to 186 damage, 88 dexterity requirement, 150 strength requirement. Pretty high requirements there. Level 49, though, very low requirement on the level, so not bad at all. Could totally be used as a mid-range weapon. Actually, a pretty decent upgrade for a level 49 item. And I could totally see using that on a Barbarian. The Ethereal version can also be upgraded, by the way, to the Falcata, which is 40 to 124, 15 strength, level 30, to 122 to 256 damage, 78 dex, 140 strength, and level 49. So the very interesting thing here about these two weapons when they upgrade is that the level requirement doesn't really go up very high. And honestly, the strength and the dex requirements aren't really that bad for a level 50 barbarian. Let's just round it off to 50. At level 50, you should have a pretty good amount of dexterity anyway, and 150 strength isn't so out of line that you couldn't reach it, so I could totally see that being a thing. Also, a little bit of history for you. The Falcata is a rather interesting weapon that I was always quite enamored with as a kid. And I'd like to show you a picture of a Falcata. It doesn't look like a short sword at all. A Falcata is actually a Greek weapon that would probably be in the hands of something like the Amazon or something of that nature. And let me bring a picture of one up for you guys as a special little doodad for this video, because the Falcata is actually kind of an interesting weapon. Always has been to me. There you go. This is what the Falcata looks like. The reason why the Falcata is designed this specific way with the curve in the blade like this is specifically for like cleaving heads and things, if I remember correctly. It's a very interesting looking blade all around. Now, the Bloodletter offers some advantages that can't really quite be quantified by looking at the weapon. So what does +3 Whirlwind give us? And what does +4 Blade Mastery give us? We're going to have to look these up, and we're going to have a little fun with this. So let's go over to Amazon Basin, which is a pretty good website for like high-level skill rankings. And we're going to have a look at the Whirlwind ability. And let's see here. So according to this, it looks like we are gaining... Actually, didn't they change Whirlwind recently? They did change Whirlwind recently, which means Amazon Basin may be out of date. You know what we're going to have to do instead? We're going to have to look at it in-game. I think that's easier. We're just going to have to reset our character and play with it. Boom. There we go. All right, so we have 1 point. We need to put 1 point into our Whirlwind. So we are currently at level 4 with 65% attack rating and 45% damage. Let's write these down. 65% AR, 45% D. Okay, so we're going to put in 3 points, and then we're going to look at the difference, because it's 3 points of Whirlwind, right? 3 points. So we're going to go a 1, a 2, a 3. So we went from 65 to 85, which is, or sorry, 65 to 80, which is a total of what, 15% AR? Not as much as I thought it would be. So 65 to 80. And then the DR, the damage, the increased damage goes from 45 to 60. So another 15% off weapon ED. Off weapon ED functions differently than on weapon ED. Always remember that it's a far less effective. Then Blade Mastery, same thing. So Blade Mastery goes from 4 levels up. So we're looking at, let's say at level 4, we've got 64%. And then we've got 43%. And then we also have to look at the crit. Now, the crit does kind of cap and level off. So eventually when you do max out Blade Mastery, it's not going to have as much of an effect. But we'll look at it from the lower perspective at this particular point, because we're a level 30 character who's putting on this weapon for the first time. You know, maybe we have put our points into other things. We don't have our Blade Mastery maxed yet. Or maybe we have no intention of maxing our Blade Mastery. So it's all up in the air. So we've got 15% crit, and let's go ahead and put 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go to 96%. And we're gonna tally all this up, because when you have plus the skills like this, it does make things a little bit difficult to get a good grasp on what you're actually obtaining from something like this. So 21%. All right, and we need the differences on all of them so we can figure out how much damage we're actually calculating. I'm going to pause the video, calculate these out real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so assuming you're kind of a low level-ish barbarian, it looks like to me you would be gaining a total of 47% to attack rating from the plus to skill of Whirlwind and the plus to skill of Blade Mastery. So 47% isn't a huge amount, but could be a lot depending on how much raw attack rating you have from other sources, like maybe if you're using Angelics. We also have a 35% off-weapon ED increase between the Whirlwind and the Blade Mastery. Unfortunately, Whirlwind doesn't really give very much off-weapon ED. It's actually relatively low. In fact, Whirlwind actually starts at negatives, so don't be too surprised if you don't get as much as you think. And then on top of that, we also get a 6% crit increase from our Blade Mastery. So we go from 15% to 21%, which is 6%. So overall, it's 47% AR, 35% off-weapon ED, and 6% extra crit from the plus to skills on the Bloodletter Gladius. Now, of course, if you were to upgrade this, you would have to Zod the Bloodletter Falcata if you wanted to actually utilize this as a weapon. And I do actually have a Zod sitting around here somewhere. There we go. Now, the really weird thing about the Zod rune is that it doesn't quite work the way that you would think. The problem with the Zod rune is that even though the level of the Zod rune is level 69, the level that often changes to the actual item is often far different than the level 69 level. Unlike most runes, when you put that item into the rune into the item, it basically just gets that level. But with the Zod rune, it doesn't really work that way. So let's see what we end up with, shall we? So we went from level 49 to level 76. So very interesting. So a Zodded Bloodletter Falcata would be level 76. Now, 122 to 256 damage, I'm afraid to say, isn't high enough for level 76. I mean, it might work. Who knows? We could always take these bad boys out and see what they do. Hold on, let me throw some points into strength real quick. And let's max out Blade Mastery and max out Whirlwind, and then that's pretty much it. I'm not really going to do much else. I really just want to see how it performs with Whirlwind. Honestly, I don't expect it to be super duper amazing. It does have a nice short range, which will allow me to focus the damage better. But I just don't really see it doing like too ridiculously well. Nice damage focus. Definitely nice damage focus because of the short range. I mean, you can tell I'm able to apply that damage to individual targets very easily. Of course, he's mana burn. Of course, you're mana burn. I'm stuck inside of him, and I don't have enough mana to get out. It's amazing. And he's burning the mana away. That is beautiful. I have never been stuck inside of a monster before like that. And every time I get enough mana to potentially leave, I can't because he's stealing it away. That's amazing. He will just slowly kill me until I die. Looks like we've come across another issue with the Bloodletter Gladius. Looks like relatively low durability for a weapon that's going to be a relatively fast, high damage item. It already is broken. I mean, I was only one encounter. Did it really break in just one encounter? That's a little fast. There's really not a lot much more to talk about with the Bloodletter Gladius. I do feel like the Bloodletter Gladius is a very nice item for a level 30 character. It upgrades very nicely to level 49. I don't really feel like it's a very good end game level item, but you could certainly use it all the way up to hell difficulty and probably kill Bale with it. The additional Whirlwind and Blade Mastery don't give as much of a bonus as you would think, especially in the higher levels where you notice things like, notice I'm already at 31% crit without the sword, and then as soon as I put on the sword, now I'm at 32% crit. So things like the crit on the Blade Mastery tend to kind of top out a little bit, and the damage on Whirlwind doesn't really go that high, so even a large amount of plus to skills to Whirlwind isn't like too ridiculously effective. I feel like the main benefits of the Bloodletter Gladius is, number one, it's already a fast weapon, it's a short-range weapon, and it works well with Whirlwind. So you could totally level up a Barbarian using Bloodletter Gladiuses, upgrade them once to the Falcata, and get good use out of them probably all the way through Nightmare difficulty into Hell difficulty. And you could probably use them in Hell difficulty for a little while, especially if you socketed them and added something nice to them, like maybe a Shale Rune or something to increase the damage. The ED is kind of low at 140%. It could be higher. Just something like a Ruby Jewel might make more of a difference than a Shale Rune for something like this. A Ruby Jewel is 40% enhanced. It doesn't have to be a 1540. I probably wouldn't waste a 1540 in something like this. But if you did put a 1540 in something like this, you would notice that it's going to go from 86 to 186 to 98 to 210, which is a nice little bump in damage. And then you also get the increased IAS as well. To be honest with you, I don't really think it's worth the 1540 Jewel, but it definitely increases the damage, as you can see, quite nicely. It goes up to 210. It's just not as high as some other like end game options. I'm actually going to be doing a video on Doombringer soon, and you can see Doombringer's one-handed damage is 114 to 289. So the Bloodletter Gladius, even with the 1540 Jewel, doesn't even come close to the Doombringer's damage level. And that's non-Eth, by the way. The Eth version, unfortunately, Doombringer doesn't have an Eth version. I think that's enough talking about this weapon. We've gone over just about everything we can. Let's take a look over at Silo's Pen real quick, and let's get an idea of where you could potentially find this if you want to grab one or potentially even two of them. It's definitely something that you can snag. So on the Silo's Pen website, we got Bloodletter. Since it's a level 30 item, I went ahead and inserted 150% Magic Find. And we're definitely going to do bosses first. Let's see non-quest flags. Non-quest flags, we got Bale in normal at 1 in 320, but he's kind of a pain in the butt to farm. Diablo in normal at 1 in 329, not bad at all. And Nightmare and Ethereal at 1 in 351, both good choices. If I had to choose, though, between Ethereal and Diablo, this is something I talk about all the time, is that Ethereal is much more difficult to find than Diablo, and normal Diablo is much easier to kill than Nightmare and Ethereal. So not only can you find normal Diablo with exceeding ease, but you can also kill him with ease, whereas Nightmare and Ethereal may be a little bit of a challenge for you around level 30, and you're definitely going to have a hard time getting to her unless you have teleport, and as a barbarian you don't have teleport. So I would definitely go with the Diablo in normal difficulty Chaos Sanctuary. Let's take a look at super uniques real quick, and let's get an idea of where we could potentially find this from super uniques. All right, so let's take a look at super uniques and sort those by probability. Nightmare Cow King, not exactly a good choice for a level 30 character, but a pretty good drop rate there. Normal Neolithak, 1 in 2,256. That's actually a pretty easy farm. If you guys are unaware, there actually is a set way that you could find Neolithak. I actually have a video up on it if you want to take it out. It's basically set map variations, and I show you how to recognize the set map variations. And if you follow my video, you'll be able to find Neolithak like that. I'm not even joking. So very easy farm there, Neolithak, 1 in 2,256. You can totally get yourself a pair of Bloodletter Gladiuses from him. I could see that normal difficulty. And Rosenstein's not exactly an easy farm. Pendulin normal, also very easy. Also a very easy farm. Obviously, 1 in 3,650. Not as good as Neolithek, but faster than Neolithek. Despite even with my my very good directions to take you to Neolithek every single time, I believe you will still be able to kill Pendleskin faster, but not by much, believe it or not. With the directions that I give you, you're looking at 2 load screens, one to get to, obviously, the Halls of Pain, and one to get to Neolithek's room. And if you are teleporting or leaping, you could definitely get there exceedingly fast. Pendleskin is obviously still going to be faster, but Neolithek is still very fast in normal difficulty. Not seeing a lot of other good options. I mean, this guy right here, that's not a bad option. Bonebreaker in the Crypt in Nightmare difficulty. Basically, you would kill Bloodraven, and then you go into the Crypt, and Bonebreaker is a super unique. He's always by the chest, so very easy to get to. Cold Crow is always in Cave level 1. A little bit more difficult to get to. Bishy Bosch is always in the Cold Plains and Nightmare difficulty. Those are not bad choices. Treehead Woodfist and Rakanishu also in Nightmare difficulty. So pretty good drop spots all around. I think that's pretty much it for this particular item. So I've actually gone over what I normally do for these videos. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.